Hey, what is going on Twintendo Nation? Hope you're having an awesome day. Today starts our first ever top 10 for Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it's discussing one of my favourite things about a new generation, and this is New Eeveelutions. I'm going to be going through the top 10 potential new Eeveelutions we'll get for Pokemon Sword and Shield. The ranking of these Eeveelutions are decided by how much I personally want to see them in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and how well I think their typing will fit in the Galar region. Now, Eeveelutions are some of my favourite Pokemon of all time, not really surprising since Eevee is my mascot Pokemon, and we haven't had an Eeveelution since Sylveon back in Pokemon X and Y in 2013, and that's almost 6 years on. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Eeveelution we'll get in Pokemon Sword and Shield, because normally Eeveelutions at least every 2 generations. So we had obviously the first 2 generations were kind of the outliers. You had Eeveelutions in both Gen 1 and Gen 2 with, you know, Flareon, Vaporeon, Jolteon, and then Umbreon and Espeon. Gen 3 skipped Eeveelutions, then in Gen 4 we got Leafeon and Glaceon. Gen 5 skipped Eeveelutions again. Gen 6 we got Sylveon, and since Generation 7 didn't have an Eeveelution, it's fair to say that Generation 8 probably will. So let me know in the comments below which Eeveelution you'd like to see in the Galar region. And if you do enjoy today's video, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to stay up to date with everything Pokemon Sword and Shield. And remember guys, if you like the art that you see in this video, the Fakemon Eevees, make sure to check the artists in the description. There's some amazing Eeveelution art in this video, so definitely go and support them. And without further ado guys, let's start this video. So starting us off at number 10 is probably the Eeveelution I want the most, but I think is so unlikely. I'm going to have to put it at number 10, and this is a normal type Eeveelution. And this art is done by Fakemon on DeviantArt. I'll link them down in the description, make sure to check them out. So why do I think a normal Eeveelution won't happen? Well, first of all, I think it's just not even in consideration for Game Freak until at least they do all the other Eeveelution typings, which are 9 more Eeveelution types to do if we don't include normal. So I just don't see this Eeveelution ever happening really until, like I said, all the other Eeveelution typings are done, and that could be a very long time from now. But I would love this personally. I really love Eevee, as you guys know, and I would just like to see what a bigger kind of Eevee would look like. And I think Fakemon is a really good idea of just keeping it simple. A normal Eeveelution wouldn't look too different, I think, from Eevee, just a bit more fluffy, I guess. And yeah, I don't know, I would just really love to see this. Now for me, a lot of the Eeveelutions are pretty balanced compared to each other, but I think a normal Eeveelution would suffer quite a bit, since the normal type, as we know, is not that brilliant in terms of going forward defensively and offensively if it's just on its own. So I think if you were going to balance a normal Eeveelution, you'd probably have to give it quite a few new attacks to learn, or just a lot of attacks it could learn, similar to how Mew and Mewtwo work. Like Mew can learn any attack in the game. I won't go that far obviously, but I think it would have to have quite a wide range of coverage to balance itself out against the other Eeveelutions. But that's just me. I really like this design and would love to see a normal Eeveelution one day, but I don't think it's going to happen. Coming in at number 9 is the Poison type Eeveelution, and this is called Toxeon. And the rest of the Eeveelution art you're going to see is made by someone called Badafra on Twitter. I hope I pronounced that right. They have made some incredible Eeveelutions, probably the best I've seen. So make sure you go check them out on Twitter, give it a like and a retweet. It's definitely some of the best Eeveelution art I've seen personally, and you'll see later on in this video. But going back to the Poison Eeveelution, the reason I put this in 9th is just a personal preference. I'm just not the biggest fan of Poison type Pokemon. I think they've always been a bit underappreciated, and they've never had too many strong Pokemon going for them. If you look at, like, you know, most pseudo legendaries, a dragon, a lot of the strong Pokemon are not poison basically, until I'd say 7th gen, last generation with Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. We got Poipole and Nagandel with basically the first poison type legendary Pokemon. So they have been a bit neglected, and this is just a personal reason. I'm just not the biggest fan of poison Pokemon. I think the design is really cool here, and it's definitely something I could see happening in the future, but for me, I just don't think a poison Eeveelution works in the Galar region. Now next up is the Grand Eeveelution, and this one is called Dungeon, or Dungeon. I guess it's kind of just more of a pun than an actual name. This kind of reminds me of actually a normal Eeveelution. It kind of wouldn't be too surprising if I saw this, and I honestly could see this being a normal Eeveelution. But it is ground. I really like the design of this, how the kind of Eevee's mane kind of turns into like a whirlwind and wraps around it. I think that's really cool. But the reason, just because I'm putting this in the is I just don't think it's likely to appear in the Galar region, simply because it's not. I'd expect more of a desert-like region, maybe something like Australia, for a ground evolution to appear. I just don't think it fits the theme of the region. We know there is a desert area because we've seen Flygon fighting a Bravery in like this desert area, and there's a kind of desert area on the map. But for me, this just wouldn't make sense at all. I do like the design, and ground types, they're not personally my favourites, but I really do love Flygon. So there are a few like ground Pokemon I do like, and I wouldn't be against seeing a ground type evolution, but for me, it just doesn't fit the Galar region that well, and it's not up there in terms of the evolution types I would like to see the most either. But it's still really cool, and I really do like this design a lot. Following on from the ground evolution is the rock type evolution, and this one is called Minerion, and I think this design is very, very cool. I love how they got the gemstones that kind of give it a bit personality. But I just think the exact same thing about the ground evolution. I just don't think it's very likely. I think it's definitely more likely than the ground evolution, because we do see those runes around the Galar region with all those rocks and stuff. But for me, I just don't think it's that likely, and rock types aren't personally my favourite. I still think there's probably more design you could do with a rock type evolution. I definitely think there could be more designs than a ground type evolution in my opinion. And I think the design for this evolution is perfect for a rock type evolution. But like I said earlier, it's very similar to the ground evolution. I just don't think it really fits the theme in the Galar region, and I don't see this evolution happening for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Coming in at number 6 is the fighting type evolution, and this is called Leedion or Ledion. I don't really know how they want this to be pronounced. But anyway, I would love to see a fighting type evolution. Fighting types are some of my favourite types in the game, such as Lucario, Blaziken, Infernape, Heracross, you know, all those good fighting type Pokemon. But going back to the fighting type evolution, I don't think it's that likely. I think I mainly put this up in higher in the list than the others just because I'd love to see a fighting type evolution. I think it is probably as likely as the rock and ground evolutions in terms of appearing in the Galar region. I definitely think there are better types that would suit the Galar region, and yeah, I don't know, I just really like the design and I like the idea of a fighting type evolution, but I don't think this will appear in the Galar region, but I'd love to be proved wrong, I really would. Coming in at the halfway point is the flying type evolution, Cloudion. Now, I think a lot of people, when they think of evolutions, and at least new evolutions, the flying type evolution is normally up there with one of the most anticipated and most requested. I think it's just because people would like to understand what a flying type evolution would look like. I personally would love to see a flying type evolution added to any Pokemon game. Whether it fits the Galar region, I think it probably does fit it more than the majority of the evolutions we've seen so far. Mainly because England is just cloudy, and just if it does look like this anyway, a flying type evolution, and it's like Cloudion, the UK is just always clouded over. It is while I'm recording right now. Obviously that isn't good enough reason, but it's just something I would really like to see, and I think that's why it comes in at number 5 on this list. Next up is the bug type evolution Entoion, and the reason this bug type evolution is called Entoion is the study of bugs is called entomology, so this is quite a clever name. I actually like this. Now personally, I am not a big fan of bug type Pokemon, and I know somewhere A-Drive's heart is breaking from hearing that, but personally it's just, I don't know, bug type Pokemon have never really spoken to me. They've never really been on my team per se. But I would always really like to see what a bug type evolution looks like. I think that's one of them. I think, how the heck would Game Freak design that? It's something that I could kind of see happening in the Galar region. We do have that forest area with all the glowing mushrooms. It wouldn't surprise me if there is like a place we have to take our Eevee to evolve it into a bug type evolution. It's definitely possible. Whether I think that is related to bug types or not, probably not. It's more like fairy. But I don't know, I feel like it's definitely not out the realms of possibility, and I would really like to see a bug type evolution. I think the design done here is fantastic, it definitely suits it. I love the ears, the kind of like wings. Yeah, I don't know, this is perfect for me, and I would really like to see a bug type evolution. Coming in at number 3 is the ghost type evolution, Eternion. This is probably my favourite design on this list. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's kind of got the glowing flames coming out the ears, it's got the spirit tag on its tail, the chains on its feet, and it's got the ghost cap on its head, which is something you see in Japanese mythology. This is brilliant. I think this design is absolutely perfect. When I always used to think of ghost type evolution, I'd think of like a purple smog kind of thing, similar to Ghastly, I guess, but this is completely different, and I think it works absolutely fantastically. A ghost type evolution, I'd love to know the backstory for that. I hope the Eevee wouldn't die during evolution or anything like that, but I don't know, I think this is a really, really cool design, and I'd love to see a ghost evolution that looks like this in the Galar region. I don't think in terms of the Galar region, well, we don't know too much about the story or anything about the story, so I don't think it really fits unless there's some sort of you know, mass kind of ghosts from a previous war in the Galar region. But apart from that, I don't know, I don't think it fits, but I would just love to see a ghost evolution, and I think that is why it comes in at number 3 on this list. Just missing out on the number 1 spot is the dragon type evolution Sylveon. I think this evolution is quite likely for the Galar region. In fact, there are a few rumours going around at the moment that their next evolution will be a dragon type evolution, and the reason I'm putting this on this list is, one, I really like to see a dragon type evolution. I wouldn't say I'd like to see it more than a ghost type, but this is definitely up there. And we also have that big city in the middle of the Galar region that seems to be metallic, and it has a dragon crest at the bottom, or a dragon sculpture. So to me that implies that there are going to be a lot of dragon Pokemon, or some importance in terms of dragon Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it wouldn't surprise me if you could get a dragon type evolution like Sylveon here. I think the design is really cool. What I would say is that it kind of looks like it's trying to be more like a dragon type Pokemon with the colouring. It seems to be a bit too similar to Salamence. If I think back to the dragon type evolution we saw, there was a fake one that went around after Ultra Sun and Moon called Longion. The name wasn't good, but the design was really cool. I'd probably prefer that design, but this design is still really, really cool, and it could definitely fit well in the Galar region. But for me, there is one evolution that would make more sense. And of course, taking the number 1 spot, it had to be the Steel type evolution, and this one is called Armorion, obviously Armor and Eon. I do like this design for Steel type evolution, and I think it's very, very likely we're going to see it for multiple reasons. First of all, obviously Pokemon Sword and Shield, you'd expect them to be made out of some sort of steel, and you see all the industrial factories and the industrial cities. It would make sense that Steel evolution would appear next. And another reason, of course, you'd kind of like a counter to the strong Sylveon from Pokemon X and Y, which was the last evolution. And of course, Steel types are super effective on Fairy. It would make a lot of sense for a Steel evolution to be added so it could counter Sylveon. Now for me personally, a Steel type evolution would not have been first. It probably would have come around 5th in terms of how much I'd like one. But I think it makes way too much sense not to be included in the Galar region, and I do expect to see a Steel type evolution for Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. So those are my top 10 potential new evolutions for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Let me know in the comments below which design was your favourite and which evolution you'd like to see the most in the Galar region. And if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to stay up to date with everything Pokemon Sword and Shield and become a part of the Twintendo Nation. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you on the next video. Peace!